Welcome to the Everything Podcast. This episode, I'm going to be recapping The Flash Season 3, but before I do, I'm recording this episode on Saturday the 4th of April, 2026. This is another one of the episodes that I'm re-recording because of my dead old phone. But yeah, before I get into anything, as I said, I'm recording this episode on Saturday the 4th of April, 2026. So as with all of my recaps, I'm going to show you the trailer, and then I will let you know my thoughts. So obviously, the trailer will be spoiler-free, and then my thoughts won't be. So, yeah, before I spoil the events of The Flash Season 3, here's the trailer.
There's only one thing I know about life. I know some things happen by chance. And some things happen because we make them happen. I'm finally free. I'm home. Hey, Slugger.
There's my beautiful boy. Is everything all right?
Everything's great.
You look really familiar. I've seen you before, haven't I?
Barry.
Barry.
Barry Allen.
Right.
It's fine.
Sorry.
Some people are just meant to be in your life.
Hey. Who the hell is this?
Cisco Ramon is the richest man in America.
Is there a better way to get to work than by helicopter?
Cisco.
Don't call me that. I don't know you, String Bean.
We're not partners, and we're not friends. You don't know me. You don't know my life.
We're something else to each other where you come from, aren't we?
This isn't your home, Barry. It's a mirage. It's already screwing with you and everyone you love, and pretty soon it's gonna take me right down along with you. What should we call this brave new world that you've whipped up for us? I was thinking Flashpoint.
Now who's the villain, Flash? Now who's the villain?
That was the trailer for The Flash Season 3. So yeah, as I've done with the previous two seasons of The Flash, I'm going to try and go in chronological order, but similarly to my recap for the Fourth Doctor Adventures, The Ministry of Death, it's been a while since I've watched the episode, so it is going to be a little bit harder than the first time around when I recorded it, when it was a lot closer. But obviously that can't be helped. So we start off with obviously Season 3, Episode 1, which obviously follows the events of the end of Season 2 in the finale. And before that, obviously Zoom being the big bad of Season 2, being Jay Garrick, but not Jay Garrick. Yeah, it's very, very confusing. But within one of the last episodes, I think it's the beginning of the finale or the end of episode 22, so the penultimate episode, Zoom kills Barry's father. So obviously now Barry has no living parents, following obviously Thorne killing his mum in 2000. So yeah, it's that which is what drives Barry at the end of Season 2 to go back in time and save his mum from being killed by the Reverse Flash Eobard Thawne. So that kind of is where we end up at the start of Season 3 with Flashpoint, where Barry is living with his parents who are now alive, because kind of him preventing Thawne from killing his mum kind of means that he doesn't become the Flash and all of these other things. So it is does pose the question that if you had the power to change your past, would you? And I think most people would. So there's that, and then that's episode 1, and then throughout the episode Barry learns and figures out that he made a really big mistake by creating Flashpoint as Eobard Thawne, played in this episode by Matt Ledger, obviously usually played on a regular basis by Tom Cavanaugh. So yeah, it creates that Flashpoint, or the name of it. Obviously Barry creates the world itself. but there's loads of changes. Which so like Cisco is a really rich. Wally is Kid Flash. Iris works with Wally now. Joe is very different. Obviously Joe doesn't know Barry because he didn't adopt him when he was younger. So yeah, so that kind of changes, and Barry's relationship with Iris, because obviously they didn't grow up together in the same house because Barry's mum didn't die. So it's kind of a lot of those things that would it have been better to have leave things as you are or change them. It's one of those types of things. It's very philosophical season, which we'll get to. But from episode 2, Barry tries to correct his mistake and actually asks Thorne to kill his mum, which Thorne did warn Barry he would do eventually, and Barry wouldn't listen because he was so happy, and so we see a bit of it in the trailer of him being locked in a cage and all sorts. So yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, and then from episode 2, Barry comes clean to Team Flash about some of the changes. So in post Flashpoint, Cisco's brother is dead, whereas he wasn't before, and Cisco kind of learns that towards the end of the season, because throughout the season this is when Caitlin totally becomes Killer Frost. Obviously in the first 2 seasons there were hints and glimpses of it, but kind of in season 3 is it's when she properly becomes Killer Frost. Yeah, and yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, and then Killer Frost kind of reveals that, because that is kind of the final episode before the annual crossover, which this time was across 3 episodes. 3? Yeah, it was 3 instead of 2. So we had a teaser at the end of Supergirl, and then full episodes of Flash, Arrow and Legends Invasion, where the Dominators and alien species invade Earth, and kind of it starts off on the Flash and kind of comes across those, and we see I think this is one of the only times where the full Legends team's involved, like even Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is the biggest crossover that the Arrowverse ever did. They're not, the full team isn't in it, and they make a couple of jabs at it, and I think they're in the next one, so the one during season 4 of The Flash, season 3 of Legends, and series 6 of Arrow, and also series 3 of The Flash as well, Supergirl rather. Yeah, so that was the crossover, and then episode 9, which was the Christmas episode before the mid-season break, because in America they still do it. They show a bunch of episodes, so their seasons tend to start in October, then they show about 8 or 9 episodes, and then they have the Christmas break, and then they show the rest of the season, so it kind of is an October to May season, instead of running 22, 23 weeks in a row. So and they still do that, but yeah, it's one of those types of things. And in episode 9, Barry accidentally runs to the future and sees Savitar, who has been named throughout the season, kills Iris, and Barry isn't quick enough to save her, and that is kind of takes place on the 23rd of May 2017, which with some careful planning is when the finale are released of season 3. So yeah, and kind of most of the season is kind of what would you do if you knew your future, and then obviously it's only 6 months in advance, but it's still a part of your future, whereas most of us we kind of live in the present day and do our best rather than knowing what's coming. So yeah, it's one of those. So yeah, but yeah, that's and Barry is able to save Iris at the end. And Team Flash arc as HR, who is this season's version of Harrison Wells, also played by Tom Cavanagh, is just sacrificed himself and swapped places with Iris because he blames himself, because he tells Savitar, because Savitar is revealed towards the end of the season to be a future version of Barry, who kind of creates himself through the darkness of losing Iris and what that does to him. So, and HR kind of spills that believing it's Barry, and it turns out to be Savitar, and so HR kind of sees it as his penance to make up for it. And obviously Tracy is heartbroken. Tracy we meet again in the last few episodes of the season. And the finale ends with the Speed Force, because throughout the season, so Wally is trapped. Well, it started with Savitar, but Savitar escapes. Then Wally becomes trapped, and then Jay Garrick from Earth 3, the speedster, not the who's in pretended to be, chooses to be trapped there, and then Barry is trapped there at the end of season 3, which then brings us to season 4, which I have watched the first 2 episodes of, but obviously I'm not going to spoil that now. But so that's it. So let me know what you thought of The Flash season 3 if you watched it, my recap if you didn't, and without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.